it's Colette from the Speech Meadow, and I am here today to talk about transition. So we all know those kids that really struggle moving from one activity to another activity, or moving from one place in a building to another place in a building. So little Johnny or little Sue or whoever is going to have a meltdown because we now need to go from here to the gym, even though maybe gym is still a popular thing. It's that idea of moving from one thing to another. And so things like visual schedules can really help. The other thing that I really like to do is use first then boards. So this works particularly well if they are going to an activity or going to do an activity that they really like, to help with those transitions. So right now we're having snack. Okay, but next we're going to go to the gym. So it starts to prepare them. They start to anticipate that they're doing. And with the first then board, particularly if it's going to somewhere that they like, it can sometimes make that transition easy. Even if it is an activity they don't like, just giving them a heads up that that's what's going to happen next, so they have some predictability, can help a little bit. It can be a bit more challenging if it's not if it's not a preferred activity, or if it's an activity that they really detest. The other thing is, I really like just the general 2 more minutes, 5 more minutes heads up. Again, it kind of gives them a pre-warning. Okay, I need to start wrapping this up. And those work really well if those are just baked into your routines. So, okay, we're playing for 5 more minutes and then clean up. The other thing that works really well is I knew teachers who used a song. So they would start to play a song while the kids were still near the end of when the kids are starting to do an activity. So they might start playing a song 3 minutes before the end of centers, and it's a time to start cleaning up. And so the kids, because it was routine, knew that when they heard that song, okay, we're gonna stop playing soon. We need to do something else soon. And then when that song stopped, okay, now it's time to clean up. Or when that song stopped, okay, now it's time to go line up for X or whatever it was going to happen next. And so that worked really well, especially for preschoolers, to have a song out. The other way is the very classic using a timer system. So time timers, using those sand flippy timers, using egg timers. I've used the timer on my phone. I'm just pulling it up right, yeah. So it's nothing fancy. It's just my phone. I have used with my younger kids. Nope. There's an ad on one of my timers. So using a timer like this is really good, especially for those younger kids, those preschool kids, kindergarten kids. It works okay too. I have the free version, so we get those really annoying ads on. But the kids tend to like that one. That one, you need to kind of watch, because some of the kids, I have a couple of kids where that is way more interesting than whatever we're doing. And so sometimes I'll just use really basic timers. The other thing for moving from one place in the building to another place in the building is I will let them have a preferred toy. So quite often it'll be like a stuffy. And those stuffies are used only for moving from one place to another in the building. So if you know that you're moving from your classroom to the music room, they got to walk their stuffy along, and then they walk their stuffy back. or if they're going to the gym, or if they're going to the library. And so it just kind of helped with those physically moving from one place to another, because that can be really scary for a lot of kids. And of course, I've always paired it with, okay, we're going to the library now, just so that they also had an idea of where they were going. I've also used transition objects, which also kind of work like visuals. They're objects instead of pictures. But for example, like if they're going to the gym, here's a ball. And so the kid would hold the ball as they're walking to the gym. So it kind of gave them a job to do, but it also kind of reminded them where they're going. And so for these kids, sometimes they'll have a specific little book that it's not interesting. It's just a book. It's tiny, but they get to hold that for when they're going to the library, so that they know, okay, so I've got this book. I know that I go to the library and that's what I do. So it's a great way of sort of pairing the visual with holding something. Sometimes I'll use little egg shakers for like going to the music room. And so that just really helps with some of those transitions from one place to another. So let me know what you do for those kids that really struggle with transitions. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.